are just maybe words alone, chances are you're not going to believe whatever they're saying about the soap. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we're going to look at elements of design. What are those things that design is made up of? Okay, elements and design elements for UI, those key things that are important in UI UX when it comes to design. The first thing is color. Okay, color can be used effectively to create emphasis in graphic design. Soft colors make the eye move at a leisurely pace, while bright colors cause the eye to jump. A dramatic shift in color is an attention getter. Those red colors, you see red colors, chances are you must turn to look at what it is, because red connotes so many things, especially a warning sign. If you see red, it immediately signals you, oh, something is trying to warn me somewhere, and then you turn. Because the idea is, okay, let it catch your attention first, and then you turn, oh, and then it gets you to go and see why the red color. What are they using the red color for? Then before you know it, you are reading message. Before you know it, you are still standing in front of the message for another 3, 4, 5 minutes. Before you know it, the message has been sent to you, the receiver. So all these colors, blue connotes trust and calmness. When you want to design an app where you want people to trust you, blue is your color. I'm talking like warm sky blue now. That's your color, because blue connotes trust. That's why a lot of apps are using blue, and especially fintech apps. That's financial applications, all the piggy vests, the branch, all of them, they are using those kind of colors because they want you to trust them. Oh, come to us, come to us. Oh, come to our bank. Oh, come and buy my products. They use blue to capture your attention and make you feel warm. And then you go for that as well. Then black. Black connotes luxury. Contrary to the African, idea of what black is. Or in design, black is actually a very strong brand color for when you want to convey a message about luxury. Black really works well. Okay, so yeah, color is a powerful form of communication. We're so attracted to color and so repelled by it at the same time. Even the coolest design were presented to us, if we do not like the color, we will not like it at all. So choosing the right color can help you attract the users you want to target. If you use the wrong color for a product, chances are people will pass product, they will not see it. They might just even see your app on Google Play just because of the color. Like, they'll just pass and leave your app there, or if they're on your website, they get over it almost immediately. Okay, so I just laid the picture here so you could just see an example of how colors can make you feel some type of way. Okay, just looking at this, you are probably feeling so. I would love for you to drop how you feel about this image in the conversation. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Look at this image. Just tell me how you feel about it. Especially, I know the response is coming from pet lovers would be different. So I'm really interested in your responses as regards to this particular image. So just drop it there. I'll check it later and know what you're feeling. So I'm not going to say how I'm feeling, but I'm more interested in what you're feeling. Moving on. The second element that is very important in UI is typography. Okay, typography is typically talking about the type, also known as the fonts. Okay, so wherever you see typography, you know we're talking fonts now. Okay, so is important, is an important element to build impression on your viewers or users. It's a glaring example. Oh, sorry. It's yeah. It's a glaring example that these days designers use large fonts or for a bold visual impact. Okay, you can use typography for emphasis to show what's more important on your page. Okay, they convey some sort of message about the kind of content you have on your software. That's how important typography is. Okay, then the last element is sorry, one more thing about typography. Typography is a very, very big subject on its own. In fact, I'm going to leave you a link. I started learning graphic design by watching this typography video on LinkedIn. So I'm going to leave the link for you. If you can use typography alone, you have done 70% of the work in graphic design. I'm sure some of you are wondering, font again? You are not even talking images. You are not even talking this. You are talking fonts. Yeah, fonts. That's how important fonts is in design. You can use just fonts and create one kind of design that would be appealing in a way, but it depends on what you are building it for. We can't use just fonts on our website, however, and we can't use just fonts on our applications. Maybe if you use it on some sort of magazine or something, just fonts alone, it can create some type of effects. So when you combine it with other elements on your website, it gives it this really important feel. So I want you to really explore the possibilities of typography and see how you can build your way to design through it. I'm going to drop the link. That's why I didn't write so much about it, because I am very interested in you going to see what you can do with typography. Okay. So our final element under this category is layout and composition, which is virtually everything and together now. Okay, so composition itself means putting together these two elements we said with a whole other elements together. Okay, so in graphic design, a successful composition is where all the separate elements come together to form a whole design. The colors we just spoke about, the typography we just spoke about, you bring them together to form your layout and your composition. Okay, the layout, of course, here is the arrangement of these elements on the page. Okay, the way you arrange them would tell what content you want the eyes of your user, where to go to in your website first. Okay, we're going to deep dive into the principles of this composition and layout very soon. Okay, why is composition and layout important? Whether you are designing a book cover or an Instagram story, it's not enough to have a great idea, because humans are visual creatures. Okay, half of the time when somebody goes to your page, it takes them like, it just takes them a few seconds to make up their mind whether they want to stay longer on the page or move on. So it's very key for you to place all your elements exactly where they need to be, so that you can capture their attention at the first glance. If you miss that first glance, chances are they're never coming back again. So that is a very crucial point. That first milliseconds that a user would take a look at your page, they've already made up their mind whether they want to keep going or not. Okay, so a well-composed design tells a story and sets the tone of your project. A strong composition will not only attract eyeballs, but also hold attention. Your audience will linger on your page, learn more about your products, and you will potentially make a sale. Remember, we said last week, the goal of UI UX is problem solving. And whose problem are we solving? We are solving problems of people who have businesses, who have products, and have decided, oh, I want to build a website. Oh, I want to build an app. And the idea is, at the end of the day, when people visit my website or my app, they should be able to buy my product or my service. So what a good composition does for you now is to ensure that your design delivers your brand's message with confidence. When you are confident about your service and your products, the design of your website and your app should be able to convey that same message as well. The second principle here is alignment. The human eye loves to follow sequences, such as tracing a road on a map. Imagine there's a huge map in front of you and you want to find out about a particular location. Naturally, your eye will just start looking for the lines on the map and see how it can connect point A to point B. The human eye is programmed to behave that way. So when they are on your site, they want to see that things are aligned. They want to see the text lined up in a way that it makes sense. They want to see a break where a break needs to be. Not like, oh, you place something here. Next thing, you follow it up with another image, follow it up with another text, and then everything is just jam-packed there. Nobody likes that. Everybody likes a nice, good-looking sequence that makes sense. So designers need to make a very important intentional decision when it comes to prioritizing content. Where do you want your audience to look first? What is the call to action that you need to draw attention? So that you're asking yourself, okay, my site, and their eye will go straight to this point. I want their eye to be able to see this button first when they come on my site, because that's the only way I'll be able to get them to take an action. Because if I allow their eye to go and see this other element first, chances are, before they make up their mind whether to stay on the site or leave, they might not see this button underneath. So you thinking about things like that is what will give your users that nice looking flow whenever they're on your site. Okay, so just let's look at this Spotify site, for instance. This is a good example of alignment. In fact, it's a good example of a lot of the elements we are going to be discussing here. So imagine these shapes now, the multicolored shapes now, the one that is pink, red, blue, and another pink. Imagine if they were not arranged this way. Maybe one was a bit up, the other one was maybe in the middle, the other one was, maybe horizontal, and all on the same place. I'm sure some of you will think you're like in the wrong place when you see something like that. Okay, there are situations where maybe if this red one was a bit up and the last pink one was a bit up, but they are both on the same level, that would have still be a properly aligned card. They call these things card. Okay, so I'm going to try and be using some of these terminologies. This is a card. This is referred to as a card in UI design. Okay, we're going to learn all this is when we start trying to design our own. So imagine the red card and the last pink card now, just arranged in some sort of way, and nothing is aligning. It won't make sense, but it looks visually appealing because it is properly aligned. So that's an example of alignment. And if you look into this first big card, the second card that looks like a phone is also another aligned element in this design. Then also, if you look at the text above now, I'm talking the one where they've written Spotify made for you, discover new music, artists you love, podcasts for everyone. Everything is leveled in the same spots. And if you are designing, you have the ability to see how these things are laid out in a very clean manner, because there's what we refer to as a grid in design. When you are designing, those grids will be able to help you lay these things perfectly without you trying to maybe physically measure it. But as time goes on, as you keep designing more and more, your eye will be able to see if these things are aligned even without using a grid. When they told some of us this thing, we said it was a lie because of how much we depended on using a grid to align these things perfectly. But with time, if I eyeball one square like that and the next one, I just know, okay, this thing is in the same level. But those grids will be there to guide you and teach you until you are perfectly doing it right. And my advice is, whether you figure it, because that's what my mentor told me, whether I figure how to eyeball it, I should stop eyeballing it. I should still make sure that I'm using the grid. So I have started using my grids again, just to be exact. It's better to be exact. Okay, so moving on. Okay, we're going to talk about proximity. Psychologically, we perceive objects arranged near to. The reason I put that picture in the middle is because they apply to these same elements that I want to talk about here. Proximity. Psychologically, we perceive objects arranged near to one another as a single group. Makes sense to you? It's making sense to you as you remember this picture as a single group. These are similar and they are near each other. So they can be grouped together. When you are learning your design, you will see that when you get to a section like this, you're going to group them together. You're going to learn how to group them together, because why? If you don't group them together, it means that by the time you perfectly align them, chances are you might move one without knowing. So to be done with this aspect, when you are done, you now put them in a group so that when you want to move the group, maybe shift it up or shift it down, you just move it as a group. As we start designing, most of this will make sense to you. So I'm just trying my best to explain them in a way that when you can understand. Okay. So repetition too is also in that element. This picture we just talked about. Okay. The human eye relaxes and decides to go with the flow when he sees a repetitive pattern or objects. I am sure you probably, or maybe not sure, but I want to believe that there was something about this particular design. Please let me drop your reaction in the conversation. I want to know what you felt the first time I tuned into this slide. Let me know what you felt. Okay, because it is believed that you're going to feel like you're looking at a product that you can trust. It connotes trust as well. You're going to be relaxed because, oh, there's a flow here. I can trust this. So small things like this, they help, because that's at the end of the day, the goal is to make a sale. So if you can focus on okay. Okay, my network is, hello, can you hear me? I want to know if we're together because my network is showing me that there's a hold somewhere. Are we together?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so that's the job of repetition in our design. It suits the human eye because it shows some form of orderliness. Shows that, oh, these people are probably organized about their business. For these things to look this way, they've taken their time to care about how I'm going to feel when I come to their site. So things like that can help a customer make a decision about your service or your product. Okay, this is also another form of another form of repetition is this. I decided to put up this example because I don't want you to limit your mind to, oh, okay, maybe repetition is just when the elements are similar. These things also here are cards as well. These are 6 cards here connoting different designs. This is Dribble website. Okay, on this website, people display their designs. Eventually, when you start designing, this is going to be your best friend. This particular website, Dribble. You can check it out after the class. Dribble is where you can go and find inspiration from what other people have been doing. Okay, this, if you notice down towards your bottom right, or my bottom right, yeah, you see somebody design some sort of interface and dropped there. Those are the things that we are going to learn how to design. And whenever you design them, you can drop them there. In fact, the one before it is also a landing page of another website that was designed by a UI designer. Okay, so those are the kind of things you're going to find on Dribble. You will find inspiration from other people's work and you use it to improve your own. Okay, at the beginning, it's allowed that when you learn these elements and you decide, I want to copy exactly what is on this page for practice, it is allowed, because that way you are going to learn your placements. If you can see a landing page that somebody did and challenge yourself and say, I want to replicate this site, and just maybe change the images because I probably won't have access to the original image. You are just practicing. Okay, just do that and learn how to make placements. With time, your eye will get used to a lot of things and it will go a long way for you. Okay, so the other elements that is also very crucial in UI design is, sorry, you might be hearing some noise. Like I said, I'm at University of Jos. Today is the Microsoft Global Platform. Okay, and I was facilitating today here too. So, but I said I would still come out and have this class. I'm not going to move it. So, okay, contrast now. Sorry for digressing. Contrast attracts the eye and adds visual interest to a composition, and contrast can also be in different forms. Your first thought may be color contrast, which should be warm versus cool and dark versus light. Okay, the one I'm using here, for instance, my white typography is on a black background. Okay, so it gives it a really good contrast because it's visible to the eye. If I had written my content in black, nobody's going to see anything here today, or even in gray, or even in dark blue, nobody's going to see anything here today. So that's just basically what contrast is. Okay, there are different ways you can play with contrast. I just have a few examples here. Okay, this is what we call typography contrast. What are we trying to achieve here? Big, small. Okay, that shows like a clear difference, that I'm trying to express something here. The idea for me is, I want you, when you the first thing you saw when I moved this picture was obviously big before your eye went to small. So sometimes you want to arrange something in a certain way. You can use contrast to showcase where you want the eye of the user to go first. That's the another reason for contrast. You want to be able to direct the eye. Imagine you're having some sort of big sales in your in your business. It's sales, is November, is a Black Friday. You're trying to do sales. You want to clear out your store. When you are building a site for such a client, you want their eye as soon as they log into your website to see some sort of sales somewhere. And then maybe a bit less important,
I can't see your screen, please.
log onto a page, then I'll see sale.
Hello, ma.
Network is fluctuating. Are you with me?
Yes, ma. I can't see your screen, ma.
Oh, okay. It just showed me that. Can you see it now? Uh-oh. Hello? Sorry about that.
Sorry, ma. I still can't see it.
Okay, let me refresh it.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
All right. Can you see it now?
No, ma.
Okay, something is happening.
Ma, maybe I will go back and watch the video. Maybe it's network. I don't know.
Don't worry. Let me work on it now.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
Okay, some people are seeing screen, some can't see it. Let me. That's weird.
Maybe you can leave and rejoin.
Let me do that. Yes, Joy.
Ma?
Yes.
I still can't. Maybe I'll go back and watch the video.
I'm trying to upload it. Sorry. I'm trying to upload it.
Okay.
Joy, you have a question, or are you the one that just spoke?
No. I don't have a question for now, ma.
Okay, I saw somebody's hand up.
Whose
hand is up, please?
I did before.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I think somebody just add now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Joy, your hand is still up. You want to say something?
No, ma.
Can you
Sorry,
see
ma.
now?
No, ma.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Oh. Who is seeing my screen? Please let me know.
I can see your screen. Maybe
I can see your screen too.
I can see your
Joy,
screen.
how come
Maybe
you're not
Joy
seeing my screen?
should.
Maybe let me leave and rejoin.
Maybe she should
Yes,
end the call
please
and
do
join
that.
again.
Do that. Please do that. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any questions before Joy comes back?
Yeah. Anna.
Okay.
I don't know. About reputation.
Yes.
Like, when you're done explaining reputation, you kind of shared cards with us and trying to depict reputation. So I'm trying to understand where reputation actually occurred in those cards.
Let me take it back.
You can go back. Yeah, thank you.
Let me take it back before Joy comes back. Okay. This card, right?
No.
Oh, okay. The second card.
The one
Okay,
of 6
this
cards.
one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, it's just okay. It's like I was trying to say, oh, okay, repetition can come in form of any element, like maybe the shapes. The only thing that is repeated here now is just the cards. You understand? I just showed you this one not to confuse you from that one. I told you that the other one has so many similar elements. So the repetition is obvious here, right? But the repetition here is not so obvious, but there is still repetition. Except it's just with the cards. It's the same card size. Okay? So whenever you can see an element in more than 1 or 2 places, more than 2 or 3 places, repetition has occurred in the design. I just brought this one so you can know that, okay, it doesn't have to look so similar for repetition to occur. It can also look like this, but there's repetition because it's the same size of the card that was used here. When you go to the dribble site, you probably see it better. I just screenshot some parts of it. Are you clear? Oh, Joy,
Sure.
welcome back.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So everybody see my screen now?
Yes, I don't know from my end. I can see.
Great, thank you very, very much. Okay, so this is contrast, but the other one I showed you size, right? That's size. You could use size to show contrast. Here you could use color to show contrast, like I just made reference to when I was talking about my own slides. Okay, imagine if the colors were the words were interchanged and the other color was on top of the one beneath, we are not going to see anything at all. So we want our readers, our users to be able to see our content very clearly and very vividly, so that they can quickly engage with our design and see the message very clearly. Okay, so that's the second example of how you can use contrast. Okay, so moving on now to shapes. Okay, shapes. Our cards were rectangular and forms. One was more like horizontal, the other one was vertically put. At least when we look at it, we are seeing shapes. So that's like a very important part of the elements too. You have to work with shapes when you are designing. When you turn, there's no site. In fact, every design on any website or any app you have seen is made up of shapes. Okay, so when you're looking at it, you'll be able to see, like on Teams, for instance, I'm seeing a lot of circle and lots of rectangles. Okay, there's virtually circle everywhere on Teams. There's semicircle somewhere, there is rectangle, you know, all these buttons are rectangle. The record the icons that show who is online is in a circle. Everything is just made of shapes, basically. So it's only natural for the human eye to go to look at something that is different in a scene. For example, if you drop a circle in a design that is predominantly composed of squares, it will surely stand out. Okay, so you can also use it to draw attention to something. Maybe in a site that has square everywhere, and you want them to see something, you probably use a circle. I will still make reference to that our design that I was talking about. Imagine you are doing some sort of sales, a Black Friday sales. If you notice, the first thing they do is they look for a circle, you know, because most websites are predominantly made of rectangles and squares. So they go for circles to try to drive a point and draw attention. So you would see a circle first, then you see that the circle is red, right? Because they want to do bonanza, right? They want to do some sort of sales, and they want to be able to capture you the moment you log on to their website. So you're going to see circle, then you see that the circle is red before you see a contrast color of white boldly written on top of that circle. I'm not seeing one now, but because I'm used to seeing it, and I'm sure that you are used to seeing it, everything is coming to you as I'm trying to describe it. Then, like the contrast we used of size, the first thing you are going to see is one big 50%. You see 50% first, right? Then underneath you see discounts. That's how they get us all. That is what they use. It's sense. And we all fall for it all the time. That's how powerful a UI designer is. So it's not small work that you are doing. You are doing a very, very serious work. Imagine that you see something like that, and before you know it, you are shopping all over the place. They have achieved their aim. The goal of that design has been achieved. So that's how important a shape can play a very important role. Also, for some of these sites as well, if you notice, they display their banners also in a rectangle. There will be like this huge rectangle at the top of the website that is going to be carrying specific adverts. In some, that's what you will see first, especially online shops. You see a display of items that they are selling and all that, like this really huge banner that is rectangular in shape. All these things convey some serious meaning to the users and helps them make a decision. Okay, so the next one is white space. Ooh, white space or negative space is also a very important concept in UI design. Okay, white space, that's white space or negative space here doesn't really mean, oh, the space is colorless or it implies emptiness or anything. What it in fact does is it helps you focus on what is important. And then it clears out all the chaos happening around the elements that you want your designer to see. This is what Apple does. If you go to Apple's website today, virtually every page you see looks like this. And for them, it's simple. We are selling gadgets. We don't want to play write too much. Like for me, I'm a minimal designer too. I'm not somebody who likes to do too many cluttered design. There are designs I don't do. And I want you to know that as you build your journey in design, define the kind of design you want to do. Define the kind of designer you want to become. For me, there are things, because when I started graphic design and I learned very early that less is more. And I was very inspired also by this same Apple site. I decided that, okay, I'm going to be a minimal designer because I really appreciate when less is more. So from a very early beginning, I don't like taking design where I have to do maybe posters for events. You know how Nigerian posters for event looks. Everybody 50, 80 people will be on one. My network is showing me something. Can you hear me? Hello, are we together?
I can't hear you clearly.
The network is breaking.
I can't hear you clearly, ma.
It's fluctuating. Are we together?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes.
Can you all hear me now? Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
Yes,
So this is a good example of negatives or white space, and it's not because it's white space that is white. It can be black, as long as the whatever you are trying to contrast it with is still visibly clear, then it works. That's why I would love for people to go to Apple sites and see there's a lot of black negative space there, white negative space there, just because their problem is we want to sell gadgets, so they don't make noise. As you can see, they just wrote just 2 lines of words. Abi, yeah, here, mega power, mini size. They're done. There's no clutter on their side. They don't have that kind of time, and that's Apple. Apple, where Sabi. Then is it me, little me now, that will now go and design my own site and now put, what am I putting? Like that. Which point am I trying to prove? So sometimes some clients will come to you like that, they are there, they're waiting for you people. They will come, they say, we want left, right to be there, we want ABCD to be in one corner, we want this one to be here. And if you're driven by, I want to just get paid, you'll be tempted to just say, because I fell victim to that same similar situation. There was a time that, I finished learning these things, I just want to be paid. So I was just collecting every kind of project in my team because I wanted to get paid. But when I was done doing the project, I used to feel very embarrassed to display it. I could not show the next person that I'm the one who did this work. So I don't even, when I did those works, I didn't even used to share them on social media, because sometimes that first impression that people have about you, they will not forget it too. So you need to be careful what part of your work you want to put out there as you are learning this journey. Do I want to just put everything I design out there because I have designed? Don't do that. Don't fall victim like me. I lost a lot of clients at the early stages of my career because I was driven by, I've done this thing now, let me just start collecting money and designing and become Mark Zuckerberg. But I am here. So let's be wary of that. Let's not rush to just do the work. Let's be patient with ourselves so that we can learn how to play around with these elements, so that whenever our work is out there, everybody will be like, who did this? And then before you know, you're going to have so many calls coming to you. And please always just try to do one project at a time as well. Don't say, if I leave this work, somebody will collect the money. Don't even think about things like that. So just be patient with yourself. If you are good, people will pay you well for what you are doing. Okay, so just be patient with yourself as you embark on this journey. Okay, so the next thing now is icons. Very important in UI design. As you're looking at your screens now, there are several icons here that are representing words. Imagine if it was the words they wrote on the screen now. If you look at it, you see the activity icon, you see your chat icon, you see your Teams icon, you see your calendar icon, your calls icon, your files icon. I don't know if you are seeing what I'm seeing. Then above, you are going to see other icons for your video. There's so many icons right in front of us right now. Okay, so imagine now for a minute that it was not icons. They had to write these things, like they want to write, there's a mic in front of you that is just an icon, right? Imagine if they wrote microphone there now. Is there going to be space on this our things for anybody? There won't be space. Imagine where there's conversation, the chat conversation icon, and then they wrote conversation there. Then where this team icon is, they wrote things there. There's no space anymore now. Nothing will remain. Even on this button that you have to leave, there's a phone icon on it. They will now write call or something. So what icon does, especially for us in UI, is it helps to communicate a concept in a small amount of space. Okay, remember we are trying to clear quarters. We want to simplify our design. We want it to look clean. That's the aim. The game plan is to have a clean design at the end of the day. So you don't need too many clutters. If there's something that okay, if I represent this thing with icon, it will work, then that's it. Okay, even these days, when people go to when you go on a website, when you see maybe a social media icon now, you're not going to go and see the whole Facebook written there. You just see the F for the Facebook. You see the square for the Instagram. Okay, all that is to help you, manage that page and have a very good, clean looking design at the end of the day. If you understand how to use design icons on your products, you are halfway there. Okay, I know people will now be saying I've said so many things that is halfway there, but all these things and their own journeys. Okay, there's what we call iconography. Is a study of icons. So it's a whole field on its own. Typography is a whole field on its own. Iconography, whole field on its own. People who just design icons are making a lot of money for just icons. That's why if you notice that, okay, you see that, oh, these icons are in vogue this period, before you know it, other designers have found a cuter way to organize and to design new icons. So before you know it, UI designers are abandoning that one to jump on these new nice looking icons. They're not always the same. All the icons you are seeing here, come and check back in 2-3 years time. Somebody has come up with something cooler. So that's why it's like a whole story. When I'm almost done with you people. Okay, are we together? Okay, so
yes,
this, okay, so these are the design tools. Some, there are more than 30 design tools for UI, but these are the industry leading tools. The one where we say, if you open your mouth and say, I know Figma, they'll be like, I know Adobe XD, I know Sketch, wow, I can use Photoshop, oh, I can use the Illustrator, wow, No offense to CorelDRAW users, but you can't go and say you are using CorelDRAW where people are saying they're using this one. No offense, it's just what it is. I'm telling you the truth, so that we will not go and shame ourselves anywhere. I'm speaking from experience. CorelDRAW is not going to help you in this discipline. Not like it cannot do the design, it can. But why waste your time on a tool that is not really recognized? Because even if you search for jobs now, for instance, you just say, oh, jobs for UI designers. What they're going to tell you is we need a graphic designer that can either use Figma, Adobe XD, Sketch. Those three things safe. Photoshop and Illustrator safe is not even part of the top 3. But if we're talking top 3 now, we're talking Figma, we're talking Adobe XD and Sketch. There's one they call InVision. They are all also very good. And the exciting thing about all this is, if you can use one, you can use all. So next week, we are going to explore how we can use Figma. We are going to try and design a web landing page with Figma, just so that you can learn how to do the placements, how you can pick some elements and drop them. It's a pick and drop feature. So do not be intimidated. The only thing I just want from you is to please use this week and download Figma desktop on your laptop. If you want to do your design straight online, no problem. But if you have Figma desktop, it will be nice. So that as I'm doing it, you are hearing my voice, you are doing it, you can share your screen. If you want to play my voice on you want to play it on your phone and use your screen to do it, fine. Some of you, just by watching itself alone, you'll be able to know how you can go and do it on your own. Because that's all I did. I learned how to use Figma from YouTube. So I am sure that just watching me do it, some of you will be able to grab the concept of using Figma next week. So that brings us to the end of our class. Thank you very much again. And I'm so sorry for keeping you guys. And I'm looking forward to next week. I don't know if you have another question so that we could. Anybody has any question? Hello, are you there? Hey, please don't tell me I've been talking to myself all this while.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't have any questions.
Okay, you just don't have questions.
No. Thank you so much. I mean, I really appreciate it. You are so detailed enough.
Thank you. I'm going to drop that typography link. I want you people to go and watch that video. It's on LinkedIn. Watch that video. I don't know how much of you have started enjoying your free LinkedIn yet. If you are not, please try. Okay, someone dropped something about, I think I need to enter my chat and see something. CorelDRAW being recognized as one of the tools for UI. I don't think so. This one, me, I will argue. I do not agree. Corel Draw, okay. Somebody said Corel Draw is a recognized application. Okay, yeah. It's for design, but not for UI. These applications that are here, Ineka, these applications that are here are just for UI. But it's not like I'm saying it's not recognized at all. I'm just saying that when you are looking for a job as a UI UX developer now, designer, sorry, nobody is going to ask you, nobody's going to say, oh, they are looking for someone that can do UI UX with Corel Draw. That's why I'm saying, oh, we should avoid the issue of Corel Draw when it comes to UI UX design. Graphic design, it is superb. That is what even people who it brings out your printing better when you design on Corel Draw. But in regards to UI UX, it's a no-no. Thank you very much for your question. Okay, so I think that's like the only, let me see, is there anything else? Okay, all right, guys, thank you so much for your time. Let me go back to Microsoft Global Power Platform. Enjoy myself. I wish you a very lovely week. God bless you.